Hi, my name is Kathalynas. I'm a senior here at Mars Hill University, and I'm going to be discussing my senior project on utilizing the social norms approach to increase sense of belonging in first-year students. As a quick overview, I'm going to be discussing what social norms are, what the social norms approach is, how individuals develop a sense of belonging, how this project got started for me, what my research project is, and a short conclusion. Social norms are a series of written and unwritten rules based on a society's customs and beliefs. MacDonald and Crondell found that social norms act as a gauge for individuals to decide what an appropriate behavior is in a given situation. For example, we know that we should probably hold the door open for individuals that are directly behind us versus holding the door open for individuals that are 15 to 20 feet behind us. There are two different types of norms that can influence us. The first one are descriptive norms. Descriptive norms don't require a lot of cognitive processes, which means that you don't really have to think about what you're doing. You just do what you do based on what you've seen within society. Then there are injunctive norms. Injunctive norms require a lot of cognitive process. They require you to think about what you're doing and how your actions may be perceived by others around you. Within the current COVID-19 situation and the stay home, stay safe order that we've all received, we've actually seen the emergence of a new social norm. A lot of individuals were scared and uncertain as to what they needed to do in order to prepare for a long stay at home. This resulted in the purchasing of large amounts of paper products. This allowed individuals to feel that they were doing the necessary things to make sure that they were prepared in the event that this would be extended for a long period of time. This became our new social norm. So the social norms approach follows a very simple pathway. The initial idea with social norms is to identify an underlying problem, implement an intervention strategy with an intervention goal, and have a positive anticipated outcome. So historically, social norms approach was utilized in college and university settings. This was often used to collect data on students' alcohol and tobacco consumption. Students would identify what their usage was and then identify what they thought their peers' usage was. They often found that there was a misperception. This misperception resulted in a lot of students thinking that their peers were engaged in higher usages of tobacco products and alcohol products. Campuses would then issue an intervention strategy. This would often be a campus-wide social norms marketing campaign. The idea behind this campaign was to correct the misperception with the use of a descriptive or an injunctive norm. This is a fantastic example of a social norms campaign being implemented. This campaign was done at Michigan State University. You'll see here at the bottom in which data was identified where 9 out of 10 MSU students disapproved of drinking to the point of passing out. This often resulted in correcting misperceptions and what students thought their peers' alcohol and tobacco usage was. This would usually increase use of protective behaviors and decrease patterns of usage. This was actually developed in the 1980s by Alan Berkovitz and H. Wesley Perkins. They developed this with the idea that they could correct misperceptions by deploying a marketing campaign by showcasing the data that was actually associated with what the normative behavior was. This has been replicated throughout the years and has proven to be successful in multiple occasions. Currently, research is trying to apply the social norms approach beyond university settings and beyond tobacco and alcohol usage. In the United Kingdom, one community decided to use the social norms approach to increase water conservation efforts. They collected data from individuals within the community that identified what their personal water usage was, as well as what they thought their neighbors' water usage was. They found that there was a misperception in what individuals thought their neighbors' water usage was. They went ahead and implemented an intervention strategy. This strategy resulted in a letter being sent out to residents which identified what their personal water usage was and then identified what their neighbor's water usage was. This actually helped to correct a misperception that individuals had regarding their neighbors' water usage, which actually increased water conservation and decreased individuals' own personal water usage. There are four types of belonging. The first type of belonging is communal belonging. Communal belonging are close-knit relationships that individuals have with each other. There's also general appropriation. General appropriation is the acquisition of things or statuses. In this case, it could be the acquisition of a team jersey. There's also group membership. Group membership is the individual's identification with a particular group of people regarding a particular situation. In this case, we've all survived the great toilet paper crisis of 2020. This is actually a pin on Etsy that I plan on purchasing shortly because it's a really great signifier of a very important and uncertain time that we're all currently experiencing. Then there's also minor sociability. Minor sociability is simply maintaining good relationships with people around you. Belonging is very important to my project because I initially thought that individuals needed to have an increase of belonging based on my personal experience. I came to Mars Hill University in my sophomore year and didn't have the opportunity to establish relationships within my freshman year. So I felt that it was a little bit harder to maintain and establish relationships with my sophomore year. So this project actually got started for me in my junior year in my research methods class. I and my peers had the opportunity to work with Dr. K doing a tobacco usage survey. When we actually did the survey, we all thought that there was a high number of individuals at Mars Hill University using tobacco products. However, when we actually collected data, we found that there was actually low numbers of students using tobacco products. This is where the social norms approach came in for me. We found that this was a misperception issue at the university and it could be corrected with an intervention strategy in which you simply display the data and provide the information to students that could help correct a misperception regarding tobacco usage. With this, I had the opportunity to sit down with Dr. K and Ryan Bell, the Director of First Year Academic Success, and start discussing the possibility of working with him and first year students at Mars Hill University and their sense of belonging. This was initially the start of a very fun collaboration. So my research project started off with a hypothesis in which I thought that we could do a social norm study that would result in an increased sense of belonging and an establishment of group membership and social identity at Mars Hill University. So with this, I worked together with Ryan Bell and Dr. K on the initial survey. There was a first year survey that went out at the end of fall semester in 2019. With the assistance of Dr. K and Ryan Bell, we added 10 questions regarding an individual's sense of belonging at Mars Hill University. I was personally surprised regarding the results because I realized that I was actually having my own misperception of how students felt that they belong at the university based on my own experience. So with the end of year semester survey and the belonging questions, one of the questions we asked was if individuals felt that people at Mars Hill University cared about them. It was very surprising to find that 91% of individuals found that they felt cared for at Mars Hill University, and only a small percentage felt that they didn't agree with this. Once again, with another question, we asked individuals if they were proud to be a student at Mars Hill. We had an overwhelming number of individuals indicating that they did feel proud to be a Mars Hill University student, and a lower amount of individuals indicated that they didn't necessarily feel that way. And with the last question that we had asked was if it was easy to make friends at Mars Hill University. Again, what came into play was my own experiences and how easy I thought it was or didn't think it was to make friends in my sophomore years. And I was very surprised to find that a lot more students felt that it was a lot easier to make friends within their first year here at Mars Hill University. With the research design I had, the idea was to invite first-year students to participate in a study. This study was supposed to take place beyond spring break. Unfortunately, with the current situation, I was unable to complete the study, but we did a lot of work on it. With the help of Ryan and Dr. K, there was the creation of documentation, which would allow students to identify resources that were available on campus, as well as identify with students how they establish their sense of belonging at Mars Hill University. They would have all been broken up into a randomized group with students who indicated various levels of high levels of belonging and low level belonging. My idea was that with the outcome of this study was that I was going to be able to increase sense of belonging within students. With this, we come to the conclusion of my study. I hope to continue my research in the social norms approach. I think it's a very fascinating theory, and I believe that it has the potential to be utilized in other situations and has the benefits of correcting misperceptions within our society that can only be beneficial. I hope to continue to work with first year students over the next year or two before I eventually head off to graduate school and pursue my PhD in social psychology. I would like to thank Dr. K for sitting with me and helping me get through this project and guiding me throughout the way. I definitely like to thank Ryan Bell for hearing me out and helping me shape my ideas. And I'd like to thank Dr. Rosebroom for helping give feedback and how I can be more successful in my presentations and in my project. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, or clarifications regarding my research, you guys are more than welcome to email me below.